So, could somebody just confirm that you can see that saying probability tree revision, please?
Yes.
Cool, thank you. So, just before we do that, I just want to go through a few bits of admin. So, obviously, I can see that you're all doing the work because I can obviously go over and see it, your percentages sort of live, if you like, over on Hegarty. So, it's only really just to tidy things up for me over in Teams. Can you make sure, please, that once you've finished your Hegarty quiz work, that you go and click hand it in over on Teams? It then just puts all the numbers into the right column, because at the moment I've got lots of times where it's saying like 10 out of 20 of you have done the exercise, when in fact 18 of you have done it. It's just that you've forgotten to press hand it in. So if you could all wouldn't mind just going back and all the various assignments I've set where you finished it, go and click on hand it in. That would be very helpful, please. The other benefit with that is I know when you've actually decided that you're going to stop. So some of you will get, say, 80%, and it's been a real struggle, say, and you think, oh, well, that's absolutely fine, and I'm not going to have another go at it. And then if you go and click hand it in, then I know that you're done. Otherwise, what may happen is that you go and get 80%, I go and say, well, that's a good effort, and I go and say, well done, you got 80%. I go and put 80% into my mark book, and then 5 minutes later, you go and get 100% on Hegarty. And I do pick that up eventually because I can run off a mark book from Hegarty, and I make sure I compare it to my mark book on Teams. But it's just it would just be good for me if you could just start clicking hand it in, please. Now, it's rare because a lot of these exercises have been fairly straightforward, and also you're a bright bunch. But if you do get a poor mark, don't just sort of just sit on it and just let it stay there. All the topics we've been covering are, you really do need to get on top with. There's been nothing that we've done since we've been learning remotely that I don't think is pretty straightforward. Okay, so say you do go and get something around the sort of 40% mark. It's not the end of the world. Okay, I mean, I will just go and put the 40% over into my mark book for now. And now you've got to make a decision. This is just something that you know how to do and you just haven't really had time to do it. And that's fine. But just put it on your to-do list. And when you get some time, say, for example, I've gone and set a piece of work that's been really quick for you, just go back and improve the mark and make sure you let me know that you've improved it, please. Now, if you find, and I think this might have been happening with the odd one or two of you with that Venn diagram one, that you're getting those conditional probability ones wrong, then it's not a problem. Just go and let me know specifically which ones you're struggling with. I can then go back and look at your Hegarty mark test, and say you go and say, oh, I just don't understand question 4. I can go and see the question 4. I can go and see the answer you gave, and I can go and see the correct answer. And that then just allows me to feed back to you and hopefully explain how to do it. So that could be that I just can just include it in an email. It might be that I just do a little video and upload it for you to see, or it might be we just go live for a minute or two, whatever suits you. But I don't think you really want to be just leaving sort of 40%, 50% marks on your mark book, because nothing we've been doing is that tricky yet. Okay, and then finally, just a little reminder about the extension work. So I've said all this before, but I just want to just really sort of drum it into you. So if you are looking to do some extra maths, step 1, go and make sure you've got the best possible results you could have got on Hegarty. So go back and improve your results. Second thing you can do is to go and do any of the Corbett Maths GCSE worksheets, okay, and then mark those. I've showed you where the answers are. Upload those into homework on Teams, but you'll have to go and create your own page in homework. And then please let me know, and then I can just sort of it would be really useful for me to know, because if some of you start doing some of the extension work, it's just something else I can refer to when I have to write your reports, okay? Because at the moment, what I'm going to be saying, I can comment on how things were before we went into lockdown. I can then go and say, and blah, 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 they're completely up to date with all the Hegarty exercises, blah, blah, blah. But it would be great if for one or two of you could say, that I can say something like, and it's super that so-and-so has found the time to go and do some extension work on simultaneous equations or whatever. So it would be good if some of you feel that you've got the time. If you haven't got time, That's absolutely fine. But it would be a shame if you go and do some extension work and you don't let me know, because then I can't give you any credit for it. And then finally, the extension work, remember, there's those further maths worksheets that I've shown you where they are. Those I do want to control a bit. So if you're going to go down that route, make sure you just start off doing that one on functions that I've already uploaded as an assignment. And if you do that, that's filed away under that new tab I created, the further maths tab. Right, that's enough admin. Let's get on with today's lesson. So we are revising probability trees. So today we're just going to do probability trees with 2 events, and then we'll have one final lesson where we do 3 events. So just to remind you of the basics, and this is all revision for us. We've done all this before. Okay, so let's imagine we've got this as a question. There are 4 black and 3 white counters in a bag. Izzy picks one counter and she replaces it. She then picks the second counter. Calculate the probability she chooses 2 different colours. So, as you remember, if we get a question like this, so you've really got the choice, choose to work in fractions. So with her first pick, the chances of getting a black is 4 out of 7. And with getting a white is 3 out of 7. Now, with the second pick, so this second set of branches, because Izzy has replaced it, we're back to square one when we do our second picks. So it's still 4 over 7 for black, 3 over 7 for white. And if she gets a white first, it's still 4 over 7 for black, 3 over 7 for white. So these were the easy ones, where these probabilities here are just a repeat of the first pick probabilities. So just to remember how it then works, calculate the probability she chooses 2 different colours. So that could either be the black then white option, I'm calling BW, or it could be the white then the black option, WB. So to get black and then white, she first of all has to get a black, which is 4 over 7, and then she has to get a white, which is 3 over 7. Now remember, whenever it's an and, you multiply the fractions. So top times top, bottom times bottom, chances of a black and then a white is 12 over 49. White then a black is also 12 over 49. Now the question says she chooses 2 different colours. We don't care whether it's black then white or white then black. Now whenever it's an or, that's when you add the fractions together. So 12 over 49 add 12 over 49 is 24 over 49. Now those questions do come up, and there is a Hegarty quiz or 2 on simple ones like that. But the one that I've chosen to set for you to do is going to be one of the conditional probabilities. So what that means that it does not get replaced. So let's just work through exactly the same question with Izzy not replacing the counter. So the first picks are still the same, but when it comes to the second picks, now up here, this is when Izzy went and chose a black first of all. So as she does a second pick, a black has gone. So what is the chances of a black with the second pick? Well, there are only 3 blacks left out of a total of 6 counters. So that's going to be 3 out of 6. Okay, 3 because a black's gone, and 6 because there's now 6 counters to choose from. The black's gone. What's the chances of a white if she took a black first of all? Well, that's still 3 out of our revised total of 6. And remember, these crocodile mouths will always add up to a whole. Now, down here, this is what happens when a white was selected first of all. So, what's the chances of a black if a white was selected? Well, it's still going to be 4, but 4 out of 6. And what's the chances of a white if a white was selected? Well, that's going to be 2 out of 6. So this pair of probabilities, they still add up to a whole, but they are different from those probabilities. Now, the finishing off bit is completely the same process as before, but clearly with different probabilities here. So black and then white is 4 7 times 3 over 6, 12 over 42, and white and then black, 3 7 times 4 6 is 12 over 42. add them together and simplify. So that's it, guys. So just revising probability. This is the Hegarty that I have set you. So it's called conditional because it's one of these where it's not put back in. The only bit I wanted to remind you when I had a quick look through the questions is something like this question 5. Steve has 7 biscuits in a tin, 4 digestive and 3 chocolate. Steve takes 2 biscuits at random from the tin. Now this is basically like taking a biscuit and eating it and then taking a second biscuit and eating it. Okay, so don't get confused by when they say takes 2 biscuits. You might take them out simultaneously, but basically because the first biscuit's been taken out, the second one can't be the same as the first biscuit, if you see what I mean. So when you get a question like this, just in your head run it through as being Steve takes 1 biscuit and eats it, Steve then takes another biscuit and eats it, and then you'll be fine. So effectively the first one's just not being replaced. So that's it for today, guys. If you could go and do 3, 6, 4 now, that would be great. I will transfer your percentages across over onto Teams. Do remember to go and click all those handed ins, please, to try and get up to date with all your handed ins. That will make it easier for me. And do remember, if this just takes you 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you want to do a bit more, you've got all those various options for extension activities. Okay, guys, that's it. See you.